Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Krista B from Those Wrestling Girls, and you know I have to tell you about my dope ass rock shirt that I finally got in the mail thanks to Ripple Junction. Ripple Junction is the best place to get all your authentic tees, whether it's WWE, whether it's The Office, whether it's any show that you love and mark over. You go over there, you order your shirt, you put it on, and boom. Also, you have to use the code Those Wrestling Girls to get 15% off your purchase. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to ripplejunction.com, order your shirt, type in the code Those Wrestling Girls, and you're also going to tell them that we sent you. And on that note, it's your girl Krista B, and I am out. What's up? We're back. It's Those Wrestling Girls. It's your girl Krista B.
And Queen PR.
We are wrapping up this hell of a year that we call 2020 with the second part 2 of our 2020 best of Those Wrestling Girls Best of 2020 recap. So I'm gonna let P take it away because she just knows more about this than I do. No, just kidding.
Yes, I kept track because we like to talk about everything because this year was so crazy. So I tried to keep track of what we talked about in part 1. So if you haven't checked out part 1, do that. This is our part 2. So I guess we could talk about the most recent pay-per-view because that's why we waited to do part 2, which was TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. And Charlotte came back.
Which I knew.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of obvious. She had beef with Nia Jax.
It made sense.
Yeah. As much as I wanted it to be Naomi, I kind of was like, Charlotte makes the most sense.
Right. It wouldn't have made sense for Naomi to come back to team with. It would have been okay for her to team with Asuka, but cohesively, it would not have made sense.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about, just because we always have our strong feelings about Charlotte, how do you feel about her being away for all this time and winning a championship her first time back?
I'm good with it. I'm cool with it. Because I feel like we needed that, no pun intended, that flair to spark up the women's division a little bit. Because it's like you get tired of seeing the same characters, as we mentioned before. Like you get tired of seeing them, and being that, we got the brand split, they really can't do much, so to have them too. And it's like, who else to take it but the queen on her return? Like that's just a part of her character. She just dominates on that. Yeah. So I definitely agree with Charlotte coming back and, helping Asuka and taking it and whatever. But it was obvious, like we said. Yeah. But for storyline purposes, it makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense to definitely bring Charlotte back because she was injured because of Nia.
Mm-hmm.
So it made sense. And, Charlotte and Shayna Baszler, I believe they had a little spat here and there, but it just made sense for Charlotte to come and face Nia.
Yeah, I agree. And I like it. Definitely added this excitement to the division, for Raw, especially because that's the one night that I do not stay up all the time to watch it because it just doesn't seem must watch like SmackDown. And I feel like Charlotte coming back, her and Asuka being champions, I think it really sets up a lot, and it made me excited about Raw for the first time in a very long time.
Right.
And so I was surprisingly into it. How I feel about double champions in the women's division. So Asuka's now Raw champion and tag team champion. So, I'm excited. I'm where does this go?
I like the double champion aspect. Last night when SmackDown was on, I literally came home just in time for that women's match.
Yes.
Literally. And I was like, yes, let it be 2 belts banked again with Bianca. Bianca needed a champion before 2020 is out. Unfortunately, they didn't do that. But we need a match like Flair Belair. WWE, run my check. So I gotta say.
Yes.
Flair Belair match. We need that.
Yeah, and that's gonna happen sooner or later. Because they be listening to you, so it's
they just need to hire us already, and call it a day.
No,
we don't need to go through the application process. We don't need to do all that. Just call us in, be like, hey, we've seen y'all podcast. Y'all well versed in what we do. Y'all get it. Hair signing this dotted line. Even though we want to read our contracts first, we can't just be signing stuff.
Right. Yep. So were you gonna say something? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say overall, TLC ended. I'm not gonna lie. All the pay-per-views from January till now, I don't think any of them have disappointed me just because of the condition that this world is in.
Right.
I need to point that out. If this was last year, there was some disappointment pay-per-views last year. I'm just like, really? Like, what? Like, but being that, it's like you can tell people are fighting for their jobs. In a sense.
Yeah.
For those people who are really putting their lives, like they really have the chance to show their true strengths. I don't think any of the pay-per-views have disappointed me this whole year.
I agree.
The shows, yes. I'd be like,
yeah, I gotta agree with you. Like at first it was, I never stopped watching it, but it was definitely hard to adjust to like the performance center era of the shows without any audience. And then they started putting NXT people in the audience, and like it was like all an adjustment. And then they came up with the Thunderdome. How do you feel about the Thunderdome? Because that was definitely something that's unique to 2020.
What I noticed about the Thunderdome when everybody's just like, yes, or we all know they took that from the live events or whatever. We all know that pre-recorded, and it just makes it, because if you was to really put everybody's sound on them Zoom calls on then that screen, it would be all delayed, choppy.
It would be horrible.
But it looks good it sounds good with the aesthetic of the thing. But I do like the Thunderdome. I really want us to be able to go back. Like
I know.
I'm literally like, my concerts have been taken away from me. My wrestling live events have been taken away from me. I haven't screamed a good scream because I have no wrestling events to go to. And it's just like I'm so tired of being in the house or not being able to go to an event where there's other people. Like I just need people to wear their mask. If you want to take the vaccine, you can. That's your prerogative and take it. Just be safe, social distance. We can get over with this.
Yeah.
Everybody else is missing wrestling shows or going back to their normal, whatever they call normalcy too. Like, come on now.
Right. No, I totally agree with you. And I so miss it. The Thunderdome is cool because that's like, WWE gets a lot of flack, and they did have to make a bunch of cuts this year, just like every company, but at least they tried. Like every week they have been trying to make the shows like as good as possible. Like we talked last episode about all the WrestleMania matches and the cinematic matches, and how at least they really put some effort production wise into making the shows like as enjoyable as possible for us, like and the wrestlers. Because imagine being a wrestler and having to like, playing the crowd is a part of it. So imagine having to put on these performances with no crowd participation.
Yeah, I think Steve Austin talked about that when he came out at 319, 316.
Oh, yeah.
He talked about that when he came out and Becky was there and stuff. It was just like, it was like one of the most difficult things to ever do because, Stone Cold Steve Austin, anywhere he goes, he gets that pop. That glass plate, he gets that pop.
Right.
So for him to come and it be no audience, and then they really had to rearrange it on the fly because coronavirus shut down everything.
Yeah.
So I give it to these performers being there. Like I was rewatching when Becky announced that she was having a baby. Imagine the pop and the sound.
Yeah.
And I really feel like it would have been cute. And then Seth Rollins probably would have came out at the top to meet her. Like that would have been something, you understand? But being that, the whole social distancing, they still have to have this image up that, it was hard. So imagine announcing that and feeling like nobody is watching you or listening to you and it's quiet because you have no audience and you get your reaction from the audience. That right there.
I can only imagine. And there's so many moments this year that happened, including Becky announcing she was pregnant, that I wish there was a crowd for. Like Big E for the Christmas episode of SmackDown just won the Intercontinental Championship, and they did the confetti and everyone celebrated. And I'm like, yo, how does he not have a crowd?
I mean, he had a virtual crowd.
He had a virtual crowd, yeah, he did.
Imagine having nothing like in the beginning.
Yeah. Everything like really evolved. Like it really evolved from like nobody to some people to some people. I'm not sure if we talked about Raw Underground last episode, but I would like to touch on that because that was definitely a 2020 thing that happened. It's almost like it was like a summer thing. It was like a seasonal thing. How did you feel about it?
I was real confused. I'm like, what? Raw Underground? I think I was getting my kicks more off of Twitter when everybody was about the girls dancing and stuff like that or whatever. I'm just like, what? Huh? What? Like, what does this even tie into? Like, what are you trying to make relevant again? Like, are we in a Grand Theft Auto video?
Yeah.
Or something? Because it just didn't make sense. I was trying to make it make sense, but it didn't make sense.
Yeah. At first, I was very much like, what is this? Because they kept teasing something. And then I love Shane. So I was like, oh my gosh, Shane McMahon, like, what's this about? And then I would trash it because I like hate tweeted it. Like, I hate watched it, like, because it was just so ridiculous at one point, like with the strippers and stuff. So I was just like, what is this? And then I kind of started getting into it when I seen them like introducing more people. They started doing some segments with women, like Shayna Baszler came in, was like the two little horsewomen, Marina and Jessamine. I was like, this is a great way to build them up. And then some other girls was killing it on there. I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I heard that it was like a hot spot for COVID, which makes sense because y'all like all mad close to each other. So that's why
they were dirty. Like,
yeah.
Maybe go dungeon.
Yeah.
Let me not say what I want to say because I have to be real.
PC. Or do you? I don't know.
I don't want to be ignorant.
Okay.
Ignorance, and I do not want to be ignorant. But it just looked like something out of one of them low budgeted video games.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. So I would like to also talk about just going off of TLC. We finally got to see kind of the debut of the new Carmella. How do you feel about the new Carmella? Did you like the old Carmella? What's up?
I like this new Carmella. I like this Carmella better than the old Carmella. Because the old Carmella was like, she was always talking and like when she fought a little bit and she didn't show her true abilities, her true talents until this new Carmella. And I believe I said that in my recent sound off. Like she's showing the better side of her.
Nice.
So I feel like this untouchable character she has going on.
Yeah. So speaking of your sound off, so shout out to everyone who one is a patron of ours. We love you. And we just put out our best of 2020 poll. And I always put in the question, what's their favorite Patreon content? And the sound off won unanimously.
Wow. Are you serious?
I swear that's people's favorite show on our Patreon. So if you're not a patron, sign up. Get Krista B sound offs. They're pretty great.
Thank you guys for doing that. I swear P's always text me like, girl, we need another sound off. I'd be like, girl, I ain't got nothing to sound off on, right? But like for me, my idea of doing a sound off was if something was bothering me or if something was to be said and we couldn't get to a laptop to put it on the podcast episode. That's how it was. But now that I see the trajectory of how these sound offs go, like Words with PR is amazing. I need to check those out too. So I'm just like, all right, I don't want to make it seem like everybody's just hearing PR and there's two of us, or I don't want to make it seem like PR is doing all of the work and I'm just a face. Definitely not that. It's just that when I feel the need to sound off on something, I'm gonna do it. Like I'll send it to P like, hey girl, here. And she's like, wait a minute, what was it I missed? Girl, just listen to it. Just listen to it. Yeah. But thank you guys. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, so that was exciting to learn. And so this is our best of 2020 episode. So it's just fun to look back on like all the dope things that happened this year. So next on my list was the Bellas teasing a return. So I know we talked about them being announced for Hall of Fame last episode, part 1, but we got to actually kind of ask the Bellas ourselves if they are going to return. So before this year, it was kind of like they retired, Nikki is injured, and you know what? That was that.
Right, Nikki can't come back because she has the cyst on her brain and all this other stuff going on with her. And Bree was trying to be a mom again, and it was a lot of sorry, it was just a lot of personal stuff. And then their mom ended up catching Bell's palsy, and there was a lot of personal stuff going on with them. So when they announced that first they were moms, they're gonna be moms again. They were pregnant at the same time. Then they announced that they were Hall of Famers. I was rewatching that episode, and people were not cheering as much as you would have thought for them to cheer. And I'm like, yeah, fellas like that.
Yeah, it's certain like the Bellas. It's very interesting with them. Like certain cities, I feel like go ham, and then the Hall of Fame is so polarizing. Like, and I remember before they even announced, I tweeted something like, imagine like. I guess if you read it wrong, it read like the Bella Twins were announced. And this was before they were announced. It was just like a what if. And it went viral, like of people just like, no, they don't deserve it. It's too soon. And listing all these women that should be in the Hall of Fame before them. So I'm sure people respect the Bella Twins, but I know there are a lot of people who do not think that they are Hall of Fame worthy yet.
I mean, I feel like it's too soon for them, because they have so much more to give to the business. I'm not saying that they're not worthy of the Hall of Fame, but I feel like it's a little bit soon. Like, they've done a lot in their career. They're still fairly young. They're 36, 37 now. And it's just like, Molly Holly still isn't in it.
Right.
Jazz isn't in it. China isn't in it by herself.
Yeah.
Well, it's just those little tidbits where people are just like, So I get it, but at the same time, do not discredit them on what they've done and how they've really paved the way. Because if it wasn't for them, there will be no women's evolution, and that's just facts on facts. Like, if it wasn't for them being being the bullies, and Twin Magic and 2-minute matches and give divas a chance, it was because the match Bree had.
Right.
Give divas a chance happened.
Yeah.
It was that match. So give credit when credit is due. Like, stop. I don't know why the Bella hate is so real.
It's so weird. It's so weird. It's so weird, but it was so fun being able to be on the Tamara Hall show.
Yes.
And just seeing their reaction to like our question and everything is just like, oh my God. So
I have to tell you, I was doing an Instacart order, and the girl opened up the door and she was watching Total Divas or Total Bellas.
What?
Like, oh my God, Nikki Bella. She's like, yeah. I said, yeah, me and my co-host actually just asked the Bella Twins a question on the Tamara Hall show. She's like, oh, dope. So if she wants to go look for it, thank you, girl. Appreciate it.
Yes, you can definitely check it out on YouTube. Check us out on the
Instagram.
Yes, on our Instagram. So I want to talk about something else that happened this year. This was such a fucking crazy ass year, but there was a hashtag speaking out movement on Twitter this summer, and it was very similar to the Me Too movement, but in the wrestling scene. And the indie wrestling scene sort of like blew up, and of people, survivors sharing their stories, and it really changed a lot of things. A lot of promotions closed, a lot of wrestlers were outed and kind of were banished from wrestling. A lot of promotions like changed a lot of their protocol to make sure that female wrestlers and male wrestlers felt safe and comfortable. So I just wanted to shout out a lot of the brave people, because there were people that messaged us for support and like wanting us to help get their story out. So I just wanted to just acknowledge that, because that was really huge, and it like took a long time.
Yeah, it takes a lot to open, like come out and be open about things like that. It's not an easy thing to do. So we just want to shout you on your bravery and your courage and your strength, because a lot of people can't do that, and they literally sit quiet for years and let's let it sit and fester, and they get upset. And it's not your fault. It's unfortunate that it's happened to you, but you can grow from this and move on from this in a way to where you can turn into something positive to help others who feel like they don't have a voice. So shouts out to you guys. Can we please touch on
what's up?
Like I said, 2020 has been a crazy year. We lost a lot of people this year in the wrestling community. But before we get into those, we also have to acknowledge the fact that the Undertaker has retired
Yes, he definitely retired in 2020.
on the exact 30th, the exact date he debuted 30 years ago.
Crazy.
30 years ago, it's funny with time and numbers because we're 30, but our 30 is considered to be young.
Yep.
30 years ago, wrestling time, that is a long time to be in one city.
Yeah.
Like November 22nd, which is my nephew Cameron's birthday. Hey, boo. November 22nd, 1990, he debuted. November 22nd, 2020, he retired.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, the fuck?
Crazy.
I'm never going to get an Undertaker gong moment. Like, I'm never going to get the crowd to go all black, the arena to go all black. I'm never going to get like him in the ring or feel the fire and stuff no more. Like, never. Like,
No.
I was there to witness it and see it, fortunately, a few times, but never again.
Nah. There's a part of me that's like, I feel like when the time is right, like when they do like Legends nights and stuff, I feel like in the future he might come, especially when there's crowds again. But I feel I'm like kind of okay. Like I'm also like spoiled a little bit because we were very lucky enough to see him a few times in the last couple of years, which was like even time like it was maybe twice that we didn't even expect him to come, and we were like, oh shit, Undertaker's here.
Yeah, so, I remember. I told my cousin Cha Cha, shout out to Cha Cha. I told him they were talking about Undertaker. We was at Raw, I believe. They were talking about Undertaker, and I said, "Oh, don't worry about it, Cha. I'm sorry, but he's not gonna come out." As soon as I said that, lights went on the gauntlet. I'm like, you get this? And I was mostly happy for him because Undertaker is one of his favorites too. So like for him to see that, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. I think every wrestling fan, especially if they're like our age or like older, I hope they were able to see the Undertaker at least one time live, because that entrance, it's like on TV it's dope, but in live, especially when you're not expecting it, it's like, oh my god, like it's crazy.
Up and down your spine. Like them songs is forever classic. And then the violins.
Oh my god.
Well, let me not get into it. We just have to say
yes.
Rest in peace to the dead man.
We appreciate him.
Riding off in the sunset. We appreciate you. Thank you for everything you have brought to the table and into the entertainment wrestling world. And yeah, we appreciate you.
Yeah, we really do. I want to talk about our girl Mia Yim. So she moved up to the main roster this year, but not as Mia Yim. She moved up as Reckoning and Retribution. How are you feeling about that?
I feel like one, of course, again, they're utilizing Mia wrong. I feel like when she took out Dana Brooke, and I said this on our live podcast with Face Be Hills High, shout out to them as well. I said that they should have included her into that Survivor Series match. Dana Brooke.
Right.
Now, they didn't. And it was just like, what? Like, how y'all? Oh man, WWE. That's just like how it was. It was very annoying to me. I would like to see more of what she does and more of her as Reckoner or her as herself. But I don't think she's been seen in a little bit, unless
she hasn't. She was on Main Event last week against, I forget, but and then she lost twice to Dana Brooke, and it seemed like Mustafa Ali was like mad at her, and it seemed like it was going in the same kind of direction as like Seth Rollins and the whole like Messiah thing and being a follower, but it didn't go anywhere. So again, WWE, I hate when they do that shit. They don't commit to things, because my thing is, if we're supposed to look at Retribution and Reckoning as like a threat and a force, you have her lose twice to Dana Brooke, and then that's it. So it's kind of just like, and Mia Yim is a very accomplished wrestler. Before she even got to NXT, she was dope, and we love, we have mad love for Mia Yim. So I'm hoping that next year they really do something with Reckoning. And she's the only female member of Retribution. So why not have her be dominant and do something dope?
I agree. I definitely agree. Hopefully they can change it with her because that you don't want to waste talent. Like, and she's real talented, and I know she fought hard to get to where she at. They just gotta do better with, how they schedule her.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of Dana Brooke, this year, she really did kind of come into her own, it seemed like. So last year we did a spotlight on her, and it was when she made kind of a splash at Money in the Bank. And this year she made another splash at Money in the Bank. She's really funny in that. And now she's teamed with Mandy Rose, and she has a victory over Naomi this year. I hate to say she has two victories over Mia Yim, Reckoning, whatever. So it seems like they're finally kind of like counting Dana Brooke in. How do you feel about this, and how do you think she's gonna be in 2021?
I was just watching the clip that she was on Chasing Glory with Lillian Garcia, and she was just talking about how frustrating it gets because she thinks something is going somewhere, and then all of a sudden the ball keeps dropping, and she got emotional. And I feel the same for her. Like, I'm not a huge Dana Brooke fan, but I know talent when I see it. And she's very talented. Like, her skills on a mic have become better. She's strong, she's athletic, she's pretty. So things like that, it shouldn't, be an issue on how to utilize her. Mandy Rose is back, but where is Dana? You understand? Like, they should just use it. And if they do start to utilize her in 2021, they need to put her in these matches. I would love to see a Dana Bianca fight. Technically, Dana got to get retribution on Bianca too from last year's invasion. You understand? Like, pick her up, threw her over.
Yeah, that's so true. She really washed her.
So I feel like they need to let Dana have this control and let her start climbing that ladder, because we don't need any more WWE superstars going to AEW.
Right, exactly. And like you said, talent where you see it. I mean, I don't see Dana, no shade to her. Like, I don't see her as like world champion anytime soon, but but I do think that they need to, give her a little bit more run. And, we saw the same thing in Liv Morgan. They did a documentary, a chronicle on her, Live Forever. That was dope on WWE Network. I should check that out. And she talks about how the false starts and you think you're going to be showing up to TV and something happens and you're on the right track and all of a sudden it just changes out of nowhere. And I know everybody says that's how WWE is, but it sucks when, as fans, you get invested in a character, you get invested in a storyline, and then they just drop it or they don't invest in it, and then it makes us lose interest, which I think happens with Dana Brooke, because she was Charlotte Flair's little sidekick at one point. She was with Titus O'Neil at one point. Like, she was on a lot of right tracks, and then it would just be like, whoop.
Exactly, which is horrible, because it's like you put your heart and soul and everything into this business for them to like jerk you and move you which way and out and you want or whatever. And it's just heartbreaking to see. So I really pray that they do fix their storylines with Dana Brooke.
Yeah, me too. So to close out, and I'm sure there's so many things that happened this year, but I would love to know, because it seems like 2021 might be their year. How do you feel about the Riot Squad? So Liv Morgan started the year out. So the end of last year, they teased this big return with her. Everybody was so excited. She ended up being the lesbian lover in this storyline. And we probably touched on this last episode now that I'm thinking about it. But it seems like Ruby and Liv Morgan are primed to be tag team champions. What are your thoughts on this, and where do you see them going in 2021?
I do see tag team champions around Ruby and Liv's wastes. Lord, I'm tired. But like I said, it's all about the utilization that WWE has, because they could have easily been in that tag team match yesterday, and it could have been a fatal 4-way instead of a triple threat.
Yep.
It's just the utilization of them, whatever, because they've come back. Their bond is stronger than ever. Yeah. So why not utilize them? I do see tag team champions in their near future. I really do.
I really do. So Krista B, thank you for joining me again for recapping this year. We did have a really good year, those wrestling girl side of things, as crazy as this year was. We really did. And I'm very excited for next year.
Me too. Like, y'all, we about to take over the world.
Yeah.
So it's either y'all gonna get with it or get lost.
Yeah.
Because half of y'all, and this is real to say, not saying to be cocky, whatever. Like a lot of people that you put time and invest in stuff with or whatever, they don't come with you into the new year. They don't come with you into your new life lessons or whatever. So I'm thankful to you for still sticking here, standing here with me. You know, we go through our issues, we go through our spats, whatever, but that's just a part of the progress, the process.
Mhm.
So thank you again, P. This has been a fun but crazy year. We had some accomplishments. We had some
setbacks.
Setbacks. I was about to say downfalls.
Yeah.
Setbacks. But we're still here.
Yeah. Yeah, we really are. If you haven't already, become a patron. We have fun stuff coming out every week. Thirsty Thursdays, every second Thursday of the month. We have a recap show coming in 2021 every month. So please tune in for that. What am I missing? Our new merch. We have merch that debuted this year. So please check that out. And if you have ideas and you have some creative input for our second drop, please let us know. We're very open to that. Ripple Junction, we partner with them. Use our code, save some money on ripplejunction.com.
Right.
What else happened this year?
What happened? I feel like we also got a lot of personal wins.
We did. We did.
Yeah, we got a lot of personal wins.
Yeah.
But are we wrapping up because you?
No. Oh, yes, we are wrapping up. Our Ruthless Aggression series continues Monday, January 11th, 2021, which is also my birthday.
Also P's birthday, so we're gonna have a celebration. Is that a Thursday?
No, that's a Monday, but then our Thirsty Thursday is that Thursday, so hopefully I can grab a drink and
we'll be celebrating with P.
Yeah.
For that Thirsty Thursday that week, so please join us. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you have your alcohol and your water if you are driving, even though we don't encourage you to drive and watch us. You're like, you're only drinking water, and that's it.
Yep.
Well, that's it. 2020, you're out of here. We're out of here. On that note, it's your girl, Krista B.
And Queen PR.
We are out. See you in 2021. Yes.
Hi everybody, it's me, Queen PR, one half of those wrestling girls, and I'm here to remind you that we dropped our very first capsule collection to celebrate 2 years of those wrestling girls. It's our Attitude Era themed. It's only going to be available for a limited time only, so make sure you check it out. We have a hoodie, t-shirt, mugs, and a little bit more, so make sure you check that out, and thank you for supporting those wrestling girls.